hey guys, it's Saturday. I just logged on to Star Stable after taking a fat nap, and you know what? I had dreams about music. I'm just kidding. I didn't have dreams about music. Oh my gosh. Literally as soon as I started recording, there are sirens and someone is vacuuming. So not off to a good start. Anyways, today is going to be a podcast style training video. If you do not like videos of me talking, first of all, why are you watching this video? This might not be for you. I am just going to be talking about music that I like. I'm going to be talking, who knows where the words are going to take us today. I'm working on my Trailblazer. I am in shock. Look at all of those people. They're like perfectly in line. I'm gonna start training because might as well. I'm training Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh, my beautiful self-ronce. Okay, so I feel like I've been wanting to do a video like this for a while, just like going over music that has withstood the test of time, music that I've liked for a long time, music that I have, I guess, my top picks from my life. That's really dramatic, but like my top albums slash artists slash songs. If you don't care what songs I like, again, don't watch this video. But if you are interested, sometimes I find that like when I follow someone, even if it's unrelated, I'm just like, I wonder what kind of music they listen to. I'm always like interested in that. I used to watch a lot of like, YouTube. I would watch a lot of videos where people would like drive in their car and show off their playlists. Like I was really into that because I was always looking for new music, and I, for some reason, wanted new music from people that I followed instead of finding it on my own because I'm lazy as frick. So yeah, I'm just gonna be talking about music. Maybe I'll play clips of the songs. I haven't gotten that far yet. If I can do it without getting my video removed from YouTube, then I will insert audio clips of the songs that I'm talking about. But if you were like clicking on this video like, I want to listen to music that Rose is listening to, you have your phone out, you have your Shazam, you have your Apple Music, your Spotify, whatever, you have it pulled up, you're ready to type all of the songs that I mentioned into your freaking music machine, then this one's for you, because I'm going to be sharing music that slaps in this video. And I will start by saying I don't listen to a lot of pop. I'm really not going to be talking about Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift or anything like that. Nah, like I don't listen to that music. That's not what I listen to. This is very honest and true to music that I listen to and that I still listen to after 10 years later. And then I'm also going to share some newer albums too that I like. But anyways, all right, let's start with an oldie but a goodie. Some of you guys are too young to have listened to some of this music, and some of you, it's never too late. You can listen to music whenever the frick you want. It doesn't have to be new and it doesn't have to be cool, okay? I don't even think half of this music was that cool when I first listened to it. We're gonna start with AWOL Nation's album, Megalithic Symphony, okay? This album was groundbreaking. Literally, it was a very violent album. The sound of the album is like on the verge of screamo. It's almost to the point where it's not listenable for me. But I will say, I grew up with all brothers. I had only brothers, and I also had like cousins that we hung out with, and they are all boys. So very much I was influenced by that. I listened to a lot of the music that my cousins listened to because they listened to all the cool hipster music, because one of my cousin's older sisters listened to a lot of cool music, and that's where I got a lot of my music rec. So if you're like, what the heck, Rose, what music are you listening to? And this is a little background on why I listened to this. Okay, so some songs from this album. If you've never listened to this album, what song should you listen to? I haven't looked at this album in a long time, but I think it is worth mentioning because I listened to this so much. Listen to the song Sail. You will probably recognize it. It was the most overplayed song from this album. I feel like everybody knows that song. Another song I liked from that album was Nights of Shame. For some reason, I really liked that this song had like 3 different songs inside of it. It was like, it changed songs like 3 times. And for some reason, I loved that. Dance, baby, dance. People was good. I don't think I would listen to it anymore though. Pretty much all of the songs sound like verge a little bit screamo. So I liked Burn It Down. Oh my gosh. It's true though, I did like it. And then where's this other one? Frick. Oh, Swinging from the Castles. That's the other one I was thinking about. Okay, yeah, Swinging from the Castles I listened to all the time. That in my old car was the anthem of my old car. I was like, this song makes me feel kind of cool, kind of baddie, so I would play that. Okay, first album, I don't listen to it anymore, I'm not gonna lie, but I shared it because I listened to it so much at the time. Let's move on to other music. Around the same time, I also listened to the Black Keys. The Black Keys have had a lot of popular albums, I feel like, over the years. The one that I'm thinking of particularly that I was obsessed with was El Camino. El Camino was a work of art. I was into all the songs. Top songs that I liked almost every single song on this album, and I would still listen to every single one of them. It was a good album. Lonely Boy. And also, probably my favorite song from this album was Gold on the Ceiling. I just feel like the intro to this song is so cool. Like, the guitar solo though, like, you'll find through these songs, like, I love a good guitar solo. I like the electric guitar, okay? I like listening to people play it. I don't know, there's something about it. And then another song from that album was Little Black Submarines. This is a little bit different. This is a little bit of a sad song. If there's anything I like even more than a guitar solo, it's a sad song. I like songs that are sad. I also like sad movies, which is, I don't know if I should report that, if that's concerning, I don't know. I feel like the song Stop Stop is a very classic sounding song. There's something familiar sounding about it, and yet, I don't know, it was very unique. A couple other albums worth mentioning by Black Keys that I've listened to since then. I think the most recent album that they had that came out that was actually worth listening to was Turn Blue, which was it was 11 years ago. I feel like Fever is the song that made it into like commercials. It was a very popular song. It was very catchy. I liked it, don't get me wrong, I really liked it. Could I name any other songs from this album? Not really. I feel like Fever was the only one that I really listened to as well. And then ever since then, they've come out with a lot of new albums. I just looked. They came out with an album in 2024. I've never listened to it. It's called Ohio Players Trophy Edition. Oh frick. I really slept on this album. The first song I clicked on was Beautiful People. Sometimes I hate when I like go back. Like there's a new album that came out from an artist that I listened to like 10 years ago. And I'll be like, yay. And I'll click on the album and I'll be like, I don't even recognize them because they've changed so much that I don't even enjoy their music anymore. And I did not have that experience when I clicked on this new album by the Black Keys. If anyone's listened to Ohio Players, tell me if it's good. I'm gonna add it to my playlist. And if you're like, Rose, do you use Apple Music? Tell me you don't use Apple Music. I use Apple Music, and let me tell you why. Because I'm on a family plan, bro, and me and my family have Apple Music, and we like to do things differently, okay? I'm not a hipster, okay? I don't have Spotify. Spotify is for hipsters, bro. If you have Spotify, good for you. I have Apple Music because I am an extra queen, okay? I feel like another popular song by Black Keys that I also like is from their 2010 album. Everlasting Light obviously was a good song. I feel like it's a little bit slow, but it's worth giving a listen to if you want to listen to another Black Keys song. Alright, also around that time in my life, I listened to a lot of The Blue Van, specifically the album Man Up. It was a 2008 album. I must have been listening to that song way after this album came out because I was way too young to be listening to this. I don't know. I was late to the game, but I was listening to a lot of Blue Van Man Up album. It's rock. Like, this is very intense on the ears, you know what I mean? But it's so good. I listened to one of these songs the other day. It came on my music after my playlist was over, and I, instead of turning it off and being like, oh, that's from darker times, I was like, no, I'm gonna listen to this. And I listened to it in my car and I was like, you know, it still slaps. I'm still into it. Okay, let's talk about a couple songs from this album that really just did it for me back then. Be Home Soon. This song was intense. It was rock, and it also made you kind of feel like you were gonna start crying. It's one of those songs that just really takes you out. It takes you back to better places. Okay, another song that's kind of baddie. If you're going into war or a certain situation where you need to bring your baddie vibes, probably Man Up is a song that you want to listen to. It's just cool. I don't know. All of these songs are songs that if you rolled up next to someone in the car and you had your window rolled down, you wouldn't be embarrassed. You would be like, yeah, that's right. Silly Boy is another one. none of these songs are screamo. I don't listen to freaking screamo, but this album's pretty emo. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Yeah, this is intense rock. Silly Boy was a good one. There Goes My Love is probably my favorite one. I feel like that's a song that I could really jam to, and it's like, I don't know, the music was just so good. I think that's it. I think those were the only songs that I listened to from that album. I feel like the most recent album it looks like they came out with was 2020. They came out with one in 2016. I didn't listen to any of them, man. The only one worth listening to was Man Up. I don't know. It's one of those like one-hit wonder albums where like I didn't really like any of the other music. Yeah, on a similar vein, I listened to a lot of Cage the Elephant. Cage the Elephant did not disappoint. I feel like the most I have a few albums that I want to share from them, and I listened to Cage the Elephant. I've listened to them. They've released albums throughout my life that I've enjoyed. So the first album by Cage the Elephant that I really got into was Melophobia. That sounds like a disease. I don't know. I didn't listen to any of the other albums, just Melophobia was the first one. It's from 2013. Also, none of these songs are like rare or anything. A lot of you guys have probably heard this music. Come a Little Closer was it was one of the only songs I've listened to. And another song from that album that a lot of people have heard, that Cigarette Daydreams. I don't know if you guys know, but I started learning to play guitar a long time ago. And when I first started learning to play guitar, I was obviously watching a lot of YouTube about stuff, you know, because I watch a lot of YouTube. And it was someone that worked at like a guitar place. He said the most common song that people play when they're buying like an electric guitar, when they're testing out guitars at like Guitar World or something, he said was Cigarette Daydreams. It has a really sick intro, and then the song like kind of changes. It's pretty cool. I like that song a lot. And then I will say that album was just okay. Those two songs I think I really liked, but the rest of the album I kind of slept on. I was like, not really into this. And then they came out and released two more freaking dope albums. The next album that I was obsessed with by Cage the Elephant is Tell Me I'm Pretty. This album is my favorite album by Cage the Elephant. It is so, I feel like, underrated. This is from 2015. Sweetie Little Jean. Let me just say, Sweetie Little Jean is a freaking dope song. I still pull out this song on my 2025 playlist, okay? This song will make you laugh, cry, and punch someone in the face all at the same time. Okay, Too Late to Say Goodbye. That's another banger. The intro to that song, it's so cool. I feel like they have a similar vibe to like Blue Van kind of thing, like, but they definitely sound all their own. I feel like Cage the Elephant, if you listen to certain albums, they can get very like screamo very fast, and I'm like, you know, this hurts my ears, not into that, and I'll like immediately turn it off. This album for me was my favorite because it was the least like that. I think that the category was alternative for this album. Trouble is a good one. That one is like more musical and pretty. Punching Bag. I don't really like Punching Bag that much because I feel like Punching Bag is like, just feels like already heard it. You know what I mean? Portuguese Knife Fight. Am I even allowed to say that on YouTube? I really liked that song. It has a dope intro, and I don't know, that song is just cool. Cry Baby from that album also. There's so much cool guitar work in this album. I think it's very underrated. Mess Around is also another good one. There were so many good ones from this album. I'm basically just saying all the songs on this album, but those were some of my faves. And then I feel like they came out with the album Social Cues in 2019. And Social Cues is probably like the one song from that album that I feel like made it. Like a lot of people heard that song. It was very popular. Night Running as well. I feel like Target made like a commercial that had Night Running on it. But those were the only two songs I really liked from that album, but that one really slapped. Okay, switching it up from the hard rock. I don't know if anybody else used to watch this TV show called Community. My family, we used to watch that all the time. We used to watch Community. It's basically like this TV show. It's a really awkward TV show about like a community college and like a bunch of random people that have to work together as a study group. It's honestly so freaking funny. Anyways, Childish Gambino, if you guys know who that is, he's a singer, is one of the actors on that show, which is how me and my brother kind of got into his music, honestly. His album Kawaii is really the only album I ever listened to. The only two songs I really liked from that album were Sober I liked Sober. I thought that the keyboard on the intro to that song is so dope. I also like the part of the song where it like transitions the mix between musical and like hip hop rap. I am not one who's ever really liked rap until I found a couple albums, which I will share, because I think that they actually do a good job of bringing like cool new music, like catchy music, into also with like a rap section. I feel like Sober is an example of that type of music that kind of helped me get in more into hip-hop/rap. The Palisades.
Yeah.
I don't know what the frick kind of instrument is playing. Is it guitar? I don't know. It's some sort of auto-tuned guitar situation. I guess I'll do this, Grace. And the thing about this song is that I never finished the song. I always just listen to the intro and I listen to like the first verse and I'm like, you know, I'm good, pass. But I enjoyed it. And then I didn't listen to any other albums by Childish Gambino and literally know nothing about him anymore. And I just shared those because those two songs I've been listening to a lot recently, randomly. So interesting, right? Okay, anyways, I bet you guys are just really enjoying this. I bet you're just like, wow.
I care so much.
Okay, another hidden gem that you may never have heard of because it's so old. It's from 2006. The Fratellis. Is that how you say their name? Fratellis? Fratellis? I think it's Fratellis. I used to be really into running when I was like younger. I listened to all these songs like way late. So what you'll learn from this is I'm not trendy at all. I listen to stuff way late and I find everything later than everybody else. Okay, so a couple songs from the Fratellis that I used to listen to. Henrietta. Henrietta's pretty good. Flathead. Saying some of these songs out loud, I don't even know, bro. Flathead, I feel like was a really good song. I would listen to this while running all the time because the song gets like low-key a little bit screamo. And if you are someone who actually listens to screamo, you'll be like, Rose, that is not screamo. I know, but it's like they're like yelling. Like, calm down a little bit. Chelsea Dagger is another good one. Chelsea Dagger is pretty dope. I can't even lie to you guys. Baby Fratelli also was a good running song. One song that I will mention, honorable mention for having a cool as frick name, and also the song is pretty good. I'm gonna actually add it to my playlist. Low-key, I'm just adding this right now to my 2025 playlist because I low-key need to listen to this again. It kind of slaps.
Got my nuts from a hippie.
Bro, what? Like almonds? I don't know. Anyways, that song is actually good though. Okay, I didn't listen to any other albums by the Fratellis. I just listened to that album, so I'm a fake fan, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm kind of like, this is the edge of the era of music that I'm in right now, but OK Go is interesting. OK Go's really off my radar, but I feel like for a while, back when people actually used to watch music videos, do people still watch music videos anymore? I feel like we used to like watch music videos for fun. Like that's all that was on YouTube was music videos and we would watch them like multiple times. Anyways, OK Go had some of the coolest music videos ever. Like even my parents would watch it. Their album Oh No, Here It Goes Again. Everyone's heard that song. The song is a little bit screamy, but I still like it a lot. Of the Blue Color of the Sky. For some reason I couldn't find this album, but This Too Shall Pass. Needing/Getting. I would listen to I don't even know how to say this out loud. Getting. I don't know. I would listen to that song so freaking much when I was running. Also, White Knuckles. It has like such a dope, I don't know. It's such a good song. And Love has one of the dopest intros ever. It's like a keyboard intro. I just really like it. Anyways, I don't really listen to OK Go anymore. One time when I swear a lot of these albums, these artists that I'm talking about later like put songs on the Twilight albums. If you guys think that I'm not going to talk about Twilight in this video, you're mistaken. Twilight had some of the best music of any movie soundtrack ever made. It had some of the best music. I think OK Go did a song for Twilight, did they? Oh yeah, they did Shooting the Moon. It's the scene where Bella leaves her weird depression chair where she sits in that chair for 4 months, which is concerning for many reasons. and she starts building a motorcycle with Jacob. Dude, saying some of the plot lines of Twilight out loud is so concerning. Anyways, OK Go was pretty good, and I thought honorable mention, you know, like, okay, this album is so freaking nostalgic to me. I'm still in the same era of music, which is a long time ago. Gossamer by Passion Pit. Did any of you guys listen to Passion Pit, bro? I'm sure you did without even knowing it, even if you did. Passion Pit was freaking lit. Passion Pit Gossamer. It is such a weird slash cool sounding album. It's got like this very, I feel like, Japanese inspired sound slash it's very alternative. I think it was one of the first like true alternative like albums that I listened to. I mean, I can't even listen to this album anymore because I listened to it so much back then that it's painful to listen to now. This style of music is definitely not my thing anymore. And I feel like Passion Pit has had a really rough transition into like 2025 times because their sound was very, okay, this is my personal opinion, but I feel like their sound very much didn't transition well over to modern time. They didn't end up making a lot of good albums, and I think that I listened to a couple of their new albums. Sorry, I like crashed into this and was talking without even looking at my screen. It's the golden hour in Star Stable. I'm really enjoying this time of day. Anyways, I feel like their sound was very particular to like one time that was popular, and then they struggled to like be able to expand their sound but still like maintain their authenticity as a band, if that makes sense. But this album Gossamer was, I listened, Take a Walk, that song I played so much. I played it so much. Constant Conversations. They have such an interesting sound. If you've never listened to them and you listen to it right now, you might be like, what the frick? Cry Like a Ghost. That was my favorite one. Cry Like a Ghost. The intro to that song was like dope as frick. The other ones I don't really feel like are worth mentioning. I liked them at the time, but I don't remember them super well, and I wouldn't want to sit and listen to any of them, if you know what I mean. There was another album that had a couple songs that you may have heard, like Sleepyhead. I feel like you've probably heard Sleepyhead. Little Secrets. Yeah, like I feel like everyone's heard that. Maybe not. Anyways, Passion Pit, couldn't go without mentioning Gossamer because that during that era I was listening to so much Passion Pit. Okay, what else? Oh my gosh, I am literally weak. Okay, I was also obsessed at the same time I was listening to like Passion Pit and all this stuff. I was really into Phoenix. I feel like my brother introduced me to Phoenix, and I still like recently listened to these albums again. I was like, I wish they were still making music like this. Okay, the album that I love was Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix. I don't know how to say it. Amadeus. I never said it out loud in my entire life until this moment, which is wild. I bet you've heard some of these songs. If you haven't, Listomania is a very, I feel like, commonly known. Maybe not. Maybe people don't know it. 1901. That one is so good. Listomania 1901. I will just jam to those in my car and be like, frick yes. Rome is a good one. Lasso. I know, like you're like, Rose, you're just saying lasso because it's Western. No, that song is actually, it's okay. Girlfriend is a good one. Armistice. Honestly, I would recommend this entire album. It has more than 2 actually great songs. I love that album. It's freaking dope. Another album that Phoenix made that I go back to was Bankrupt. This album is very, in some ways it's similar to Passion Pit. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It makes sense. Entertainment is like, the intro to Entertainment is what I'm talking about. It just has that like feel. Honestly, the whole Bankrupt album I like. The Real Thing is pretty good. SOS in Bel Air is one of my favorites. Trying to Be Cool, I think, is my favorite song from this album. Drakkar Noir is dope. I'm literally saying all of the songs on this album. Bourgeois is a good one. Honestly, you should listen to this whole album. It's got a totally different sound to it, and maybe you've already listened to it. Okay, another album that I listened to that I've never looked at this artist ever again. Has anyone heard of Said the Whale? Their Hawaii album? I feel like this album is like another honorable mention because I listened to it so much and for so long that I feel like I had to mention it. The song On the Ropes, I listened to that so much. It just sounds like it has a nice sound. It's just an easy to like song. Narrows is kind of a cool one too, honestly. It kind of sounds like emo, I don't know, like Ridiculous, and then like Green Day or something like that, and then you kind of like it, you know what I mean? Helpless Sun, I think, is my favorite one from that album because it starts off like this ballad and then it like progresses into like a really cool song. Anyways, those are my recs from that album. Okay, this album is funny. I don't know why, it just is hilarious. If you listen to this album in 2025, you're gonna be like, Rose, what the frick is this? Maybe you've heard it. Maybe you don't want to have heard it. I used to listen to this album so freaking much, and my whole family would like, stop playing this music, it's stupid. Like they all hated it so much. I would play this all the time in my car and my brother would be like, I don't want to drive with you. I was really into it. I don't know. I found this album actually on my own. Nobody showed me this album and I was so proud of myself for finding this. It's San Cisco. Honestly, like listening to these songs again, I was like, wow, this album, like the only word I can say to describe this album, it's like from 2013, is a little bit annoying. There's this song called Awkward. Go listen to that song right now. It sounds like an annoying sibling. Like it sounds a little bit annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Then there are songs like Fred Astaire, which I feel like is very much, it kind of almost has like a Vampire Weekend feel, which we will get into Vampire Weekend. And then, Wild Things. Lyall or whatever, Lyall. I don't know how to say it. It is so freaking annoying. I just played that and I was like, oh my gosh, I hate this so much. But I loved it at the time. Here, I'll do my shared moment. Okay, I think it is time. It is time to get into Vampire Weekend. Also around this era, I was listening to a buttload. I would say boatload, but no, it was not a boatload. It was a buttload of Vampire Weekend. If you know anything about me, you know that my top artist is John Mayer. Vampire Weekend is my number 2, and that's a big deal. I like know all their albums. I know all their songs. That's the level of how much I listened to them. I actually found Vampire Weekend through my cousin's sister. I guess that is also my cousin. Wow, that's what a revelation. My cousin's sister is also my cousin. We're just learning things here, you know what I mean? Like this is an educational video. Wow, this is amazing. Okay, we're gonna go into Vampire Weekend. This one's gonna take a bit, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because just like when we get into John Mayer, which, if you didn't think in this video, I'm gonna learn about John Mayer and I'm going to learn what to listen to, what to skip, I will tell you. I'll tell you all of it. And we're gonna start with Vampire Weekend first. All right, essential albums from Vampire Weekend. The first album that really got me into Vampire Weekend was their Modern Vampires of the City. I will say this was Vampire Weekend before. I feel like a lot of their songs have been very commonly played in like commercials now. I've heard them being played in stores, which used to never be a thing. Like they used to be very fringe, nobody really listened to them. But their Modern Vampires of the City, I feel like, is when they became a little bit more well known, but still not all the way. Literally every song from this album is amazing. Their sound is so freaking cool. They have like this very like classy, classical, educated, I don't know, they have very much of like a northeastern proper New York boy sound to them, which is exactly who they are. I like about them that they have kept their sound and made it work all the way from when they started making music in the early 2000s to they released an album in 2024 that was a huge hit. And their sound, it still sounds like them, and they've made it work. Like they've made their music work for like that long, which I think is really cool. They have like a unique sound, and also the thing about them that's really cool is their lyrics are so deep I do not even understand some of them. Like they are really like lyricists. They write really interesting lyrics and they're very like poetic and like smart. I don't know, they just have like this cool like nerdy geeky side to their music, which I kind of like. Obvious Bicycle is just a dope song. This song is a great song to listen to when you just woke up and, you know, you're just feeling like a vibe. Unbelievers is another great one. I listened to this song so much. Step is another great one. Diane Young is amazing. Literally all of them. I will say one of my faves, and this is kind of random, is Hannah Hunt. This is like one of like the more, I don't know, sadder songs of the album. I really like this song for some reason, and I like the piano solo in the middle of the song. I really like that song. Worship You is a cool sounding one. It kind of has like this like Western vibe to it almost. Anyways, give that a listen. And then after I found Modern Vampires of the City through my cousin, I went back and listened to some of their old stuff, which is really interesting. Their old album, their first album called Vampire Weekend, like Oxford Comma, a lot of people have heard that. Sorry, it's explicit. If you're under the age of being able to listen to explicit music, give it a skip. A-Punk is the song that everyone's heard. I feel like A-Punk is the song that like was a hit. It's my least favorite song. It's always that way. All of the songs that are like hits are my least favorite. I think because like the ones that tend to like be hits are pop songs from albums, and I'm not really that into pop, if you could tell by this entire music video. Cape Cod Kwassa Kwassa is really dope sounding. It kind of gives beachy meets British Sailor. I don't know. Walcott is another good one. Blake's Got a New Face. Okay, that's one I can't get behind. Blake's Got a New Face is such a freaking weird song. All of them are pretty good, and they all do still sound like them. Then their next album, Contra, White Sky, was so dope. I remember making a music video because I used to make like music videos when I was younger. Like I would edit video footage of like my family and friends before I made videos for YouTube. And I made a music video to the song Cousins, and I thought that song was freaking dope. Holiday is probably one of my favorites from this album. It's just like got this like really good vibe. It's got the vibe of a vacation, honestly, which is probably why it's called Holiday. And I know a lot of you probably have heard of Vampire Weekend now because they're I feel like a lot more well known now, especially for some of their more recent albums, which I'll get into. After those albums, they broke up. After Modern Vampires of the City, a little bit later, they broke up as a band. And I remember being heartbroken. Little me was like, no, Vampire Weekend's literally my favorite. I just started getting into all their albums, and now they're broken up. Like they're never gonna make a song again. Well, plot twist. Later on in my life, they get back together and they come out with this banger. Okay, Father of the Bride, the album Father of the Bride. They came back and they made an album, and I feel like that's when they started to get more well known. I don't know, this is just my opinion, but like none of my friends were listening to Modern Vampires of the City when it came out. But Father of the Bride, a lot of people heard this song. Harmony Hall, that song is the most beautiful intro to a song I've ever freaking heard. And like this song does fall more into like the pop range, and I think this song kind of popped off and became like commercials and stuff. This Life is another one that's pretty pop-ish that people like. But some of my favorites, I really like Sympathy. Sympathy is one of my favorite songs. It's got this really cool sound to it, and it like, I don't know, the guitar work in this song, like the minor keys, I don't know, something about it is just freaking dope. Flower Moon is one of my favorite songs from this album. I don't know if you guys like remember, but I named one of my horses Flower Moon, and it was after this song. I love that song. 2021 is kind of a funny song. It's very much their sound. I like the song Jerusalem, New York, Berlin as well. I thought that one was really, really cool. Now the better could have been. Honestly, the whole album I would listen to, the whole thing, and I have listened to it multiple times, but those are some of my faves. Also, Vampire Weekend did make the song Jonathan Lowe, which was also in Twilight. So you guys, Twilight again. We should do a whole episode of Rose talks about the Twilight soundtracks. Just kidding. Okay, the most recent album that Vampire Weekend came out with, I don't know if it's done as well as the other one I was talking about, but it's so good. I really like this album. I've talked about it on some mail times. In 2024, they came out with Only God Was Above Us, this album. It does not disappoint. It's all their sound. It's also got like a new sound to it that I love. It's new and exciting. It's not like, oh, it's like the same old stuff. It's like, no, they brought new ideas to the table. Classical is such a good song. You should try that out. Capricorn is another good one. That's just like a really good one. Prep School Gangsters takes you back to simpler times for some reason. Somebody's club name was Western Wings Society, and it just made me think about hot wings. I really want hot wings right now. I want Wingstop so bad. Mary Boone is probably one of my favorite songs from this album. I just really like that one. And Pravda. They both have such a cool sound to them. I've literally named almost all the songs from this album. Hope is such a good one. It's like a more sad piano ballad type song. Not really though. You'll just have to listen to it. All right, that's Vampire Weekend. So now we're gonna move on to a new era of music. Next era of music for me was the Beatles. I listened to the Beatles so much at this phase of my life. I mean, they're not new. They're from like 1960s, okay? But I, for some reason, got really into their music. I listened to all their albums, watched a bunch of documentaries, and I got really into it. I am not gonna discuss every single album that was made by the Beatles, but I'll share some of my favorite songs. If you haven't listened or have and you're wondering, what are Rose's favorite songs from the Beatles? I thought you'd never ask. I will be very brief because I feel like I'm talking so much. That's the thing about a YouTube video. Who else would be talking? Like, obviously I have to talk. I mean, otherwise it would just be completely quiet. That would be awkward. Let me find a good one. Probably one of my favorite albums by the Beatles ever was their Rubber Soul album. I really liked this album. I don't know why. Like, the sound from this album was really cool. I try not to listen to like the greatest hits albums and stuff like that because I like to listen to the albums as they intended them to be released, you know what I mean? On Rubber Soul, I really liked Norwegian Wood. That was a good song. It just had a cool sound to it. Michelle or whatever, that freaking song was dope. That song, I listened to that song so much. It's kind of like got a sad sound to it, but I really like that. Girl is another one that I also liked. It's very similar to Michelle. And then the other album that I liked a lot was Beatles For Sale. I liked I'm a Loser because I am a loser. I liked A Hard Day's Night. I feel like that's a very common that people like. Their Revolver album, I liked Eleanor Rigby. That was a very popular song. I think a lot of people know that song. Their Magical Mystery Tour, Strawberry Fields Forever, I like that song. We also used that song for a lot of reels because my club's name was Meadow Strawberries when it was active. From the Please Please Me album, I liked I Saw Her Standing There. That was one of my favorites. Yeah, that just gives you an idea of kind of the types of Beatles songs that I listened to, but I got really into them for a while to the point where my friends would get in the car and I'd be listening to like full on just like only the Beatles, and they were like, wow, what is this? I feel like the Beatles were an entire phase in my music life, so we're already on to the next phase. I can't even say I'm a real fan of this artist, but there are a couple songs this album that I really liked by Hippocampus. The Way It Goes and Buttercup, those two songs, I freaking listened to those. Am I even a Star Stable player? Like, come on, please. Okay, the next phase of music that I started listening to, I started getting into more hip hop / rap. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And again, if you don't like rap, you will like this music, I think, because I don't like all rap. I only like ones that have like very good melody to them. By the way, I'm not recommending artists based on their personal lives, whatever they may or may not be tweeting, but I will say this is an album I really liked when it came out. The Kanye West album, Jesus is King. I really liked this album. It was actually really good. It was kind of like gospel, but like hip hip-hop/rap, which I thought was kind of like really interesting. Would I play this at church? Nah, like I wouldn't. I'm not gonna play this at church, but maybe I would. Closed on Sunday I thought was just funny. Like I played that song as a joke because it's about Chick-fil-A. Like what the frick?
Hold the sound to the
Anyways, the other song I like is Follow God.
life riding on a white word.
If you're listening to this and you haven't listened to this album, like it's not what it sounds like. It sounds like it's some religious album. It is kind of, but the music is very good. I don't like listening to Christian music, sorry. Anyone does. I don't listen to Christian music. It's not my genre, but this music's actually slaps. Okay, the next one is On God.
He didn't.
That song is freaking good. Jesus is Lord is a good one.
Every need.
This sounds so funny. The names of these songs are very religious, so I sound like so weird saying this stuff, but yeah, those are some of the best songs from that album. That was like I feel like the second album that kind of hopped me into hip-hop/rap, and then I went straight into Travis Scott. Like I named one of my horses Travis Scott Astroworld, so I freaking love that album. That album is so cool. If I could pick one hip-hop/rap album that I always have, it would be that one. It's such a cool album because it sounds like it's like one song that just keeps going. Like each song is a continuation of the next. It's completely explicit. You are not old enough to be listening to that. Don't listen to this, okay? Oh, I guess you could be not like me and you could get the non-explicit version. LOL. Guess I'm kind of a baddie like that, sorry. Okay, literally every single song in here I recommend, but some of my favorites. 5% Tint.
Come outside, I start rich.
If you play this song in your car and pull up next to someone, they're not gonna mess with you. NC-17. I only listened to this song for that like guitar solo in the middle. That's dope. The thing I like about this album is like the music is actually really good, like and creative. He's like very musically talented. Each song has a clear melody that's like very, like it's a good melody. Butterfly Effect is a really good one. Coffee Bean. I made a short to Coffee Bean. That's kind of it. And then I kind of from there started listening to Travis Scott's other albums, such as Birds in the Trap, Sing McKnight. I only liked Goosebumps from that album. The next one that I kind of listened to a lot of the songs is Utopia. I liked the song Thank God. That's a good song.
Can't trade me.
My Eyes. It's a freaking dope song. If you don't like rap at all, you might like the song My Eyes. It's got like such a pretty chill vibe. I listen to this song in the morning all the time. I feel like this is the song that helps me wake up in the morning. It starts off like very like morning vibes, like I just woke up, chill, and then it like progresses and it helps me wake up.
1000 on AT&T. People that ride
God's Country is another good one.
see the light.
I Know is a good one.
You might roll the dice. I know.
Yeah, those are probably my favorite. A couple honorable mentions, single songs that I threw in here because they were just that good and I listened to them just that much. Fantasies by Bio. I don't know how to freaking say their name because I don't listen to this artist, but I like the song Fantasies. It was like my Instagram story for every other reel that I posted, every other story that I posted. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about Juice WRLD. I just started listening to Juice WRLD honestly because of my brother. So if you have recommendations, let me know. I'm still finding songs I like from him, but from the album Fighting Demons, the song Burn, the intro to that song again has like that, like, I don't know. It has such a cool sound to it, so I really like that song. A couple other like kind of singles. I listened to a little bit of Neil Francis. Some of the songs that I like go back to again and again are Ask Me Anything by Neil Francis. I really like that song. It's so dope. Better Way and Anybody Out There. Oh my gosh, that song was freaking lit. I play that song all the time. If you want to cry in your car, you could listen to that song, or if you want to slap somebody and get in a little fight, you could listen to that song as your pre-game warm-up, you know what I mean? Okay, the next artist I kind of listened to. Some of his music I like and some I hate, like with a passion. I'm like, it sucks. Is Mac DeMarco. I feel like he's like indie rock. I think I found him like through some YouTubers that I watched were like, I like Mac DeMarco. I was like, whatever. Anyways, some of his songs are good. Still Beating in his album This Old Dog is pretty good. Passing Out Pieces from Salad Days album is so good. That has such a dope sound to it. I was like, wait, this actually is so good. And then Freaking Out Neighborhood, I think, was a very popular song like in the YouTube world from his album Mac DeMarco album number 2. I thought he was an honorable mention because I listened to him quite a lot. Okay, I have another one, still Woozy. I've listened to some of their albums, like I liked their singles Lucy, Goodie Bag, and Cooks. I listened to those singles again. I found those through like YouTube. And then recently they came out with an album, Love Seat, which actually that album is dope. If you like follow me on Instagram and like pay attention to the music I post, you will recognize a lot of these songs that I use in my Instagram stories. Some of my faves from Love Seat, because this album actually slapped. It was from 2024, but I still am listening to it. I'm not done with it. Lemon, it just has such like a cool, like I'm going to the grocery store type sound. Again has such a good sound. Shiz Don't Change. I like the song Shiz Don't Change. You know what song what I'm trying to think about? I don't cuss on this channel, but Houston has such a cool intro to it, and it's just a cool sounding song. Frida Kahlo is such a cool song as well. Little Things is probably my favorite song from the album. It's just got such like a cool sound to it. The whole album is really cool. I recommend that album a ton. I typically don't listen to country music unless I'm like riding or like in a phase. And I've talked about this album, Family Ties by Charles Wesley Godwin. I'll share some of my favorites and then I'll just leave it there for you guys. The album Family Ties, I don't even know how I found him, but it's from 2023. It's not that recent. The song Family Ties is so good. And the song All Again, I was obsessed with. The whole album I've listened to and I really like. And then Dance in the Rain. West of Lonesome, that's a good one too. Honestly, it's got like kind of like a sad overtone to it, but I kind of like it. I just got like a bunch of spam mail. That's amazing. This album I found from a friend in college. Was it in college? I don't know. This artist I found and I was like way late to the party, but it's the Shins. I can't believe I could have been listening to the Shins all this time, but I didn't find it until later because I had a friend in college and he was like, you know, based on the music that you listen to, I feel like you'd really like the Shins. And I was like, what's that? What is a Shin? I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on. Bro, they have such good music. I'll share a couple of my faves, but again, they're pretty popular. I don't know how I didn't know about them. Wincing the Night Away is probably my favorite album of theirs. Sleeping Lessons, Phantom Limb, in Australia. But they all have such a dope sound to them. I don't know, it's everything I like. It's alternative, but it kind of has that similar sound to like Phoenix that I liked. I don't know, I just really like that. Turn on Me is another really good one I like. And their other albums, honorable mentions, Port of Morrow album by them. I feel like the Rifle Spiral has such like a cool intro to it. Simple Song I think is like kind of well known. Bait and Switch, I don't know, that song it gives such a cool vibe. Their album Oh Inverted World, New Slang is a really good song. And then their album Heartworms, I like Name For You. I feel like Name For You is a song that gets played in like Target. You know what I mean? Anyways, that is a brief overview. I like the Shins, but I think a lot of people know about the Shins at this point, so I'm gonna skip. Okay, last I've saved, best for last. So John Mayer. A lot of people, I will say, a lot of people are like, have heard of John Mayer, and they've heard one of these 3 songs. Say, Daughters, maybe Gravity.
all the love, the light.
Waiting on the World to Change.
Rest your tale of world to
Yeah, like one of those songs. And I will say I don't really like most any of those songs. And I think that he gets kind of like pinned down by like some of those pop hits. I feel like one of the more recent like pop hits that he had was New Light.
from the border.
A lot of people heard the song, but I will say like that is very like surface level his ability. And I know like John Mayer's very well known, but I think a lot of people haven't really listened to his music and don't really know, like haven't ever gone into his albums to actually listen to them. Like a lot of people have just heard some of those like pop hits. So I'll give you like a detailed lesson about what you need to know. Don't even worry guys, don't even worry. He is definitely like a very multi-talented artist. Like he is an insane guitar player. Like he's probably like one of the best guitar players of this entire generation. And I would argue songwriter. Really, really brilliant song lyrics. I don't think that those like popular hit albums are like a very good representation of his abilities on that level. So I think, yeah, this will be interesting. Yeah, because like those are some of the first songs when I was younger, like when he came out with those songs, those albums. I didn't really listen to him that much. My mom listened to those songs, so like later on I recognized them and I was like, oh, like I found some of his newer albums and I was like, wait, I really like this. I think the album that I listened to that got me reintroduced to him, because like most people I had heard all those, like I'd heard Waiting on the World to Change and stuff, hadn't really listened to his other stuff. So later on, I think his Born and Raised album was like the first one that I listened to and was like, oh, this is like that guy my mom always listened to. And then I started really enjoying all of his albums. Okay, so I feel like his oldest albums, like Room for Squares, if you want to listen to some like old actually good ones, all of them are good. Neon is like one of the coolest songs. I have gone to a couple of his concerts now, I think 2 or 3 actually. They're like, and I don't go to any concerts. He's so freaking good live because he's such a good freaking guitar player and he has a really good voice actually. It's kind of wild. Neon is like one of the coolest ones, and after having heard it live, I'm like, I love that song even more. That's probably one of the best ones to listen to from the old album. His next album was Heavier Things. I feel like these 2 songs are very like some of the more common ones. Bigger Than My Body
This is another space.
and Clarity.
I worry.
This album had such a cool sound, and kind of like Vampire Weekend, I think he does such a good job of like, I don't know, like mastering different genres in a way that is very, still has his uniqueness. That makes sense. Probably my favorite song from this album is Wheel. I really liked the song Wheel. Continuum, I think, was one of the more popular albums. Like it has Waiting on the World to Change and Gravity. I love Gravity. It was amazing live, I will say. Waiting on the World to Change is good. And then it also has like Stop This Train. A lot of people have heard that.
Stop this train.
Believe, I think, is a really good song as well. Kind of underrated. And then probably my favorite from this album, or one of my favorites, is actually In Repair. It has such a dope freaking sound to it. Like it's got like this organ sound to it, and it's got, I don't know, that's such a cool song. So underrated, but I think those first 3 albums are like, they're pretty good. And then it gets into Battle Studies, his next album. I think it's one of my least favorites of his, but I still like a lot of the songs. Probably Who Says is one of my favorite songs from this album. It's got like this kind of like sad sound to it.
Who says I cooking spin along better?
Bro, have I like almost finished all these races? Have I been talking for that long? I'm so concerned. Edge of Desire is such a good song.
The dreams about
So those first 4 albums, I like songs from all of them, but like probably my favorite album of his is Born and Raised. This album, the whole album is my favorite. Like Queen of California, I learned to play this on guitar, and honestly, like it has such a cool feel to it. It says it's rock, and I would agree with this. It's not country. It's the most, I don't know. Some people have said this is like Americana. It's very like, it's got a cool, fresh sound to it. And this has always been my favorite album of his, actually. I like Speak For Me.
Show me something wanna work for me bad.
I just love the lyrics of a lot of these songs too, and the music, which is cool. Age of Worry is a really cool song.
Don't be scared, know how to do saturate
Born and Raised, the song, is actually freaking dope.
my family. Remember.
There's so many good songs on here. If I ever get around to Living is I think one of my favorite songs from this album because it is again like 2 or 3 songs within one song, which I really like. I always find that that is a dope song.
Free, gonna wise.
And I will also say, if you are gonna listen to some John Mayer, like hit it up and see what you think, I recommend listening to some of his live albums. His live song In Your Atmosphere, he never recorded that song because it is like he's one of those artists that his live albums are actually good. He sounds better live than his recorded songs. In Your Atmosphere, he never recorded it in a studio because the live version was better than the studio version could ever be. In Your Atmosphere is another song I really like because it is like 2 or 3 songs in one song.
So I don't think I'm gonna stay. Wonder wherever you are.
I love that song. I've listened to it live twice and I'm like, that song freaking is dope. Also, you cannot discount from Born and Raised album, Walt Grace's Submarine Test. That song is so freaking dope. And I've heard that live too. It's so cool. Like it's a really cool sounding song. Okay, the next album that I kind of like probably is one of my maybe my second fave, Paradise Valley. Dear Marie is a really good one. Waiting on the Day is my favorite song from this album. It's just like kind of got that like sad but like beautifulness to it. Wildfire is a good one. Not the one featuring Frank Ocean, just the regular Wildfire is a really good one.
Rivers and fine fest your hair.
Again, like if you want to listen to some good live albums, the Complete 2012 Performances Collection EP has like some of his acoustic ones that are actually really good. Probably the live album that I'd recommend is Where the Light Is. That live album is so freaking dope. You should listen to it. The next album I really like is The Search for Everything, Emoji of a Wave. This song is so cool and it has such a cool sound to it. In the Blood is really, really good.
Left my destiny, but it's home family.
One song that I always like play on Fridays is Love on the Weekend. I love that song. It just is my weekend song. I don't know.
I can't believe every minute.
Roll It On Home is a good one.
Journey, nobody's gonna love you right.
I don't know. There's so many, like I like all of them. And then his most recent album that I actually went to his concert for this album, for his tour for this album, it's Sob Rock. And like when I first listened to this album, I remember being like, I don't like this album. Like it doesn't sound like his other albums. And literally every time he comes out with a new album, I have this conversation with myself because I'm like, every time he releases an album, it has a different sound to it and I have to get used to it because it's like very unique. He's kind of like touched a different genre, which I think is cool. And then this album, I would say has like a very like a touch of 80s, which is interesting because I feel like 80s stuff is really in right now, so like works pretty perfectly. And I will say my favorite song from this album, New Light, was the one that was like the hit that like blew up, everyone heard. But I liked that song actually too, but Wild Blue was my favorite one. I made a short with Wild Blue and I've done a ton of like videos with Wild Blue. All of them are good. Last Train Home, I will say, was dope live.
You don't wanna love.
Anyways, that's my really shortened version of my rant about all of John Mayer's albums. Oh my gosh, I came back to my computer because I realized that I forgot to tell you guys about one of the most important artists that I recently discovered after I talked about John Mayer. I'll mention it really quickly. These people found me at the disco. Hello. Anyways, I was like gonna go down, lay down in my bed, and then I was like, oh, no. I forgot Grateful Dead. So guys, I got into Grateful Dead because John Mayer kind of plays with Grateful Dead and it's Dead and Company. I've been listening to some of Grateful Dead / Dead and Company and I'm not gonna lie, they are kind of a chill vibe. Some a little too chill for me. But 2 recommendations from Grateful Dead or Dead and Co that I kind of like is Friend of the Devil and Althea. Okay, continue on with the video. Wow, this honestly might be the longest I've ever talked in my entire life. This video is gonna be so long, but let me know if you made it to the end. Comment down some music ideas that you have for me. Or if you go listen to a song that I recommended and you like it, come back and let me know. I would love to know that. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this really long rant. A bunch of you have been saying you enjoy the longer videos because a lot of you guys just want to turn on a video and listen to it while you're like cleaning your room or training. So hopefully you could just pop this on and then you didn't have to change the video 17 times. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I'm on thin ice, you'd never guess. I've been hiding a monster, keeping it quiet. I do my best.